we wanted to deploy Azure Web App and then deploy services using Azure DevOps pipeline, correct? So yeah, let's get started.
Vikas,
Yes,
just ping that link to our message box.
yes, I'll do that. Okay, that is done. So yeah, let me create quickly this web app and then we'll see. Okay. We are using a Cloud Shell and we have to use Azure CLI, that is bash command. Let's change it to bash. Confirm. Okay, created a resource group, myapp.rg. What is the second? Create app service plan, right? Let's create the app service plan. That is also done. Next is create a view app in that app service plan, correct? So the pipeline name is wrong. So let's change it. What is the resource group name for our case? myapp.rg. In this case, it is given my pipeline RG, right? So which is not there. So, I'm not doing anything, simply creating Azure Web App using CLI so that it won't take more time. I've already discussed Azure Web App already exists. How come my app.NET Finance already exists? Okay, let's search. Must have cost. It is not there, but why to say? They will try creating once again. It says already exists. Maybe backup is enabled. That's why it says already there. Yeah, due to backup seems to be there. We'll change the name. My web app WI. So you can see the command line like AG web app create, right? AG, then service, then action, correct? Then hyphen G is your resource group, hyphen P is like app service plan, hyphen n is the name of your app, web app which you wanted to create, and the runtime. Correct. So it's pretty easy to use CLI. Try create some resource using CLI. Also try creating multiple resource using CLI. Uh, Still, you can see web app has not come here. So yep, just give 1 2 more minutes. Meanwhile, we can give access, right? Last time, if you remember, we have configured one access so that our pipeline can access this Azure Web App. Already, this 0025 is added as owner, and some of them are added as contributor. Okay, so let's go to pipeline. I hope you all know how to navigate. I am not going in details to navigation, right? So I'll go to pipeline. I will say edit. How to add a new task? Azure web app we wanted to deploy, right? So if you can see, there is some assistant here. If you're using YAML based pipeline, click on show assistant, search for the task which you wanted to use. Okay, Azure web app, deploy Azure web app, correct? Select that. Connection time is like Azure resource manager, Azure subscription. We can select service connection. See, people can see right now it is showing here my app.NET WI, which we have just created. Last day it was not showing here. We have waited for more than 1 hour, correct? That was due to the slowness of Azure DevOps. Okay. So now you can see I am able to select that service. Okay. Anything else I have to do? No. I will just say add. Okay. And you can see there is a task has been added already. And this is a YAML task. What it says, this is the task name. You can give anything. Okay. No, not this one. You can add a name here below for this task. First thing, what we are giving input connection type, that is Azure RM, which you already seen, right? How we have selected that. Then we have given a service connection to connect to this web app. Then application type is a web app. Then web app, the name of Azure web application, and then the package, right? This package has been generated with the help of build, right? Here we are doing a build in this step, correct? And same build we are publishing here. Now what we are doing, we are taking the same publish and we are deploying to a Azure web app. Okay, so let's save this. We'll discuss this in details. Okay, what we have done, don't worry about that. I hope CI/CD is already enabled. It must be running. Yes, it's already enabled. So any commit to repository will trigger this pipeline. Okay. So you can click on individual task also, and you can see the details step, what it is doing. So got service connection details for Azure App Service. What it is saying, updated app service application setting and Kudu application settings, package deployment using zip deploy. So now it is deploying basically package. We can go to our web app, right? Let's try to go to our web application. How we can access our web application? We will have an URL, right? So you can see welcome ASP.NET Core. It's already been deployed, seems to be successfully deployed, right? And we can see there is a welcome page which has been deployed. NetApp building web app with ASP.NET Core. Okay, let's discuss the end to end. Okay, let's get a whiteboard and try to understand what we are trying to do. Because last Friday we have got some feedback that we have not got what we are trying to do, correct? So this can be again a small project which you can explain, right? So let me go there at a whiteboard. I hope you all are able to see my screen.
Yes, Vikas.
Yes, Vikas.
Okay. So what we did, we have created a web app, right? Azure web app, correct? Then what we did, web app is just to host a web application, right? So in our case, what we have done, we have a code which is there in Azure DevOps. You will see once again that, right? Then with the help of Azure DevOps itself, what we did, we have taken this code, we have built this using a YAML based pipeline, and then we have deployed the code to Azure Web App, correct? So let's say, let's add some text. Let's say this is my code, which is a .NET based code. Then this is my Azure DevOps, correct? DevOps, where we have YAML based pipeline, correct? Then this is my web app, right? Okay, so let's go and see the code first, right? Then we'll come back here again. Okay, so where is my code? Where it is? Where I can see? I can go to repository, right? And then I can see my code. You can see my Azure pipeline here it is, right? YAML based pipeline which you have just updated. If I am going to history, I can see the changes, right? Today at 8:20, who made the changes? Vikas, correct? So this is my YAML based pipeline. Then this project detail and this development.json, app setting.json, right? Those all are like application related details, right? Bin you have, object details you have, right? Yes, and all those things. Pages you have. So HTML and CSS pages to run a website, all those things are there, correct? So basically, you will get this code from your developer, right? They will maintain this main branch with the updated code, correct? So this is my code. What I have to do, I have to take this code and create a new pipeline, right? How we can do? So code, any doubt? I don't think so any doubt should be there because we are not managing anything. This complete package is been managed by a developer, right? Or a group of developer. What we can do max to max, we can configure some pull requests, right? To safeguard this code so that we don't have bad code in this repository or in this branch, correct? We can apply pull request on top of this so that a peer developer will review code before merging, correct? So once we have a code, what we have to do, we have to create a new pipeline, right? If we again try to create a new pipeline, I will go to pipeline and this, then say pipeline, then we can say a new pipeline, correct? Here we are using YAML based pipeline, right? So first let's select where my code is. That is the first option we have, right? So Azure Git repository. Then select the repository. You want to start a new starter pipeline or you want to use an existing Azure pipeline. You can do anything, right? Or you can select show more and then you can select some .NET Core based or .NET ASP.NET Core framework, right? Or if you know any other application, if it is a Docker build image, you can select that also. Okay. What type of code you have, based on that you select a existing pipeline or you can create a new pipeline from a starter pipeline, right? This is the same way we have created last time, if you all remember, right? We have selected this ASP.NET Core, right? Here you have same thing in this application, right? Create a pipeline, go to pipeline, select new pipeline, then select the GitHub where your code is, correct? Then ASP.NET Core, and then select that ASP.NET Core, your pipeline will be created. Okay. So just to refresh once again, I have came here. Right? So once you have selected and configured, you will get a YAML-based pipeline, same way we have got here, right? So you will get till here, correct? Then we have added the last part, that was deploy to Azure Web App, correct? So this is the basic YAML pipeline where we discuss the trigger. You can say this trigger is set as main, right? If I change it to master, it will not trigger automatically the pipeline. Okay. So I have changed it to master. If I save this, pipeline should not trigger. CI/CD should turn off, right? In case of classic pipeline, we have an option, we have a switch, right? Where we can enable CI/CD. In case of YAML pipeline, this one, here you can change the trigger. Okay. Then second is the pool option. What is pool? Our agent pool, right? What type of pool we want, that we can mention here, right? You can get all the details of pool if you search. Okay, what all value you can mention here in pool, that you will get. Okay, variable is build configuration, then release. This is to build the package, right? Whatever code you have in your repository, it will go through it and build an image for you. The same image, if you see here .zip, we are getting it from this pipeline and deploying it to this Azure Web App, right? So what all things we have in here? In code, we have simply a code, right? That is ASP.NET, or you can say .NET based code we have, right? What we are doing, we are pulling this code to our DevOps pipeline, correct? Uh, Pawan, I guess you are unmuted. You can go on mute. Okay. So in DevOps, we'll all this code, right? And then what else we have in DevOps? We have a YAML-based pipeline, correct? What all tasks this YAML-based pipeline does? First is build, right? Build image. From where? From code. What is the second task my YAML pipeline is having? It is publishing. So whatever we have got as part of this build process, we'll publish the same image to some location from where we can reuse it, right? And what is the third option we have? Deploy to web app, right? Before that, what we have to do? We have to define trigger. Hope after this you can explain a pipeline during an interview, right? You have a trigger, then you have a pool, then you have variables, correct? We have seen all these in classic pipeline. Hope if you have gone through DevOps, then you remember. These like trigger, pool, and configuration, these are pipeline parameters, right? Pipeline variables, which is required to run a pipeline. And these all are the tasks, right? So you say task and you say this is configuration, pipeline configuration, correct? So we have three configuration: trigger, that is master or main, then we have pool, what type of agent you want, then variables if you have anything, if you have configured anything, and then you have task, build, publish, and deploy. What all tasks we can add here in DevOps pipeline? After publishing, you can store it to artifact repository. Then from this artifact, deploy it. Before that also we can add some task. What we can do? Let's say I have got an image, right? Once my image is built, I can add a task for test, right? So next we will learn how to add a task for test and how to publish this image to an artifact repository. Okay. So if we add those two, my pipeline will be complete CI/CD pipeline, correct? Anyone has any doubt?
No, sir.
Hope if you remember this page, it will be easy, right, to explain. And this can be your one project, right? That you have created a pipeline to deploy .NET base code to a Azure web app, correct? Also, one more thing,
Yeah.
like, yes,
When we got the code from the developer,
hmm,
it is in the form of the .NET file.
yes.
It would be transferred to the DevOps automatically, or developer will push the code to the DevOps.
See, we have a raw code, right, in our repository. So we are using
Okay.
this task, right, build image. There is a task called build, right? This
No, no,
step you
I'm
have
not
received.
talking about that. I understand that, but I'm talking about the code section of the pipeline where you write where the .NET file we got from the developers. Developer
Mhm.
will transfer that code to the DevOps.
Yes.
That code is when we got the code in the DevOps file,
Hmm.
it is automatically created in the form of the YAML, or it would be created through the help of the developer.
See, developer will give you .NET code and DevOps will have it in .NET form only. It will not, the code form will not be changed.
Okay,
Okay, we are creating our own YAML based pipeline. That pipeline will use that .NET based code and create an image for you with this task. Okay, so
hmm,
don't get confused. Okay, first this .NET, your developer will upload the code, their work is done. Your pipeline will change that .NET based code to a zip file which can be deployed, right?
okay,
So yes, your developer will not make this change. And YAML is just a pipeline. YAML code is nothing but just a pipeline. Okay, YAML based pipeline which you have created or a DevOps engineer will create to deploy,
okay.
uh, basically to build and deploy this .NET. Okay.
Yes. As the code written in the YAML file is in the form of the JSON file.
Hmm.
Yes, is it right?
JSON and YAML, there are little bit change is there, right? It's not
Okay,
same. There are changes. If this is, you can say this is a YAML. YAML basically it kind of district descriptive where you can use key value, but JSON is some formatting you have to follow, right? Bracket has to be start and closed and all those type of you have to follow. So yes, okay. So we have learned
okay.
the basic of YAML pipeline, right? And then we have learned about how to add a task, right? You can see there are different tasks. Same way we are adding a task to what you call mm, classic pipeline. We can add a task to YAML pipeline, right? Let's go back again to same screen. So yes, I was saying in any company, it's not like there will be only one application, right? Web app, there will be multiple web app, right? We have talked about the environment, right? Dev, UA, and prod. A minimum of three environment will be there, right? Development, where developer will do the testings, then UAT, where tester will do the testing, then prod. Sorry, let me get some water. Be back in 2 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. So let's talk about little bit artifact. Okay, what is artifact, right? So we have seen we are building an image. This will give us a an image basically. Okay, so it can be a zip file. It can be some other in some other form. Okay, sorry. Where this file is? Anyone has any idea where this file is currently? The image which we have created using a build pipeline, or you can say build task. Where
Azure
this?
repository. Yes.
No, it's not there in Azure repository. Currently, it's there in my agent machine. Okay, agent pool machine. Okay, we have to store this in some repository. Okay, or in Azure artifact, or even some other Nexus or some other artifact, right? Because if it is there in my agent pool, right now we are using a Microsoft based agent, right? Hosted agent. We are not using our personal agent. So this we may lose this anytime, right? So what we wanted to do, we wanted to keep this image somewhere safe where we can reuse it, we can version it, right? We can have different version of it. So we will be storing this artifact to some other place. Okay. Before that, let's go and see different type of artifact, right? So let's see Azure DevOps artifact. Okay, release artifact and artifact source. So you can see artifact source pipeline. We have a build pipeline, correct? And then every build will have some number, right? So let's say build is having 100 or build number is 200. It will generate some sort of artifact every time we are running our pipeline, right? And every time we are running our pipeline, it will give you a build number, correct? So you can directly this picture what it says directly you can release from the build, or you can add one more step in between, that is artifact, and from that artifact you can release. Okay, that's what this picture says, nothing much. Okay. Okay. This is a normal artifact. I'm not looking for that. Okay, so you can say there are different type of artifact sources where you can mm, store. So Azure pipeline is one which we have already seen how to deploy from pipeline. We can store it in a version control system, or you can say Git. You can store it in Jenkins. You can store it in Azure Container Registry. You can store it in Azure Artifact. Okay, so we'll see this Azure Artifact one. Let's go to Azure Artifact. How to store? Okay, first, how to store this our pipeline to Azure Artifact, right? First, we have to add a task. Let's go to pipeline and see if there is any task for that, right? So we'll go to again assistant. and we'll say artifact. So you can see there is copy and publish build artifact is one option, right? With the help of that, maybe we can publish. Let's see what all options it has. Artifact name, artifact type, server or file share. No, we don't want to use this. First of all, artifact source is clear for you people. Like what we are trying to do, is that clear? What is Azure artifact, or what all these task basically it is? Everyone is clear about Azure artifact?
Because can you explain in one line about the artifact?
So that's what we are trying to say. If you come here after building, we will get an image, right, from the build pipeline. This image is basically artifact, right, which can be deployed to a target, correct? To manage that image, we need some artifact repository or artifact source where we can basically store that image. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, because
Okay, hope everyone is clear on this point, right? Okay, thank you. So we have already used Azure pipeline, right? We have seen a release pipeline, correct? No, we have not seen a release pipeline. Sorry about that. Okay, so basically Azure pipeline also stores my image. So currently, if we see our pipeline, okay, let me go back. So this is my pipeline, right, which we have triggered half an hour ago. So this pipeline has artifact currently stored, correct? That's what the first option here you can see is Azure pipeline. Okay. Whenever you create a build pipeline, you will have your build image stored as part of that pipeline artifact only. Okay. So that is the first option you have, Azure pipeline. Second option is version control. You can store this image to a Git repository. That is what version control it is, right? You can store it in on Jenkins server. Azure Container Registry is an option which is there from Microsoft. There also you can store if it is Docker based image, right? Or you can say if it is containerized image. Azure Artifactory is one more option you have to store. Okay, TF server, TeamCity, and all those things. Okay, so if I go to Azure Artifact, if you wanted to see, if you come here, okay, so this is your artifact, the last option. You can see it, right? Highlighted. So if you click on artifact, right now you don't have any feed, right? You don't have any artifact added. So basically you can add different type of feed to this .NET based or NuGet, Visual Studio, NPM, and all those things. Okay, so for us it was .NET Core, right? So this is the credential for setting up restore package and publish package. We have to search a you can see here, first they have restored the package. Second, they are using simply a command, a .NET NuGet push source this to API AG, whatever the path is, this path, correct? So we'll be pushing that image to this artifact repository. Okay, if it is .NET based, so you can use different options here to basically publish the image to artifact repository. Okay, we'll add that task. Sorry, I will not able to go more far today. Stop here. If anyone has any question, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue tomorrow.
Because can you tell me something about the TLS which is used to monitor networking section?
I have not used it, Ajit. TLS. If you
Okay,
have anything else, maybe TLS is a protocol, right? TLS for Azure networking.
TLS is protocol.
Yes. Uh, Transport layer security. You can see, right?
Yeah, it is used basically while SSL certificate based depends on the SSL certificate. That's TLS protocol.
Okay. Hope you got it right. So yes, it's
yes,
again
sir.
revolved to SI layer. If we know SI layer, what transport layer does, then we'll able to understand it much better, right? So how do I enable TLS in Azure?
Okay.
Transport layer security. Okay. So yep. Thanks, Pawan, for keeping there. Okay, we'll add artifact task tomorrow. Okay, and then we'll have a task for testing. So we'll add those two tasks, and then we will have one or two more classes. Hope we will try to finish by this week or next week. Okay. So then one day we will discuss what all are the tasks which we can use in our Azure DevOps. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. A Terraform new class video also has been uploaded. Please go through it. Try to create some resources using Terraform. Okay. And this the last day and today there is one end-to-end pipeline, right, which we have understood. Like this is my complete DevOps, and then there is web app, right? So we got code, we got our DevOps pipeline where we are currently working, and then we have a web app, right? This is one-time deployment. My code will be like will be updated by developers, right? That is like version control. They will have different version of the code, correct? And then our web app, we will have multiple web app, a minimum of three or maybe five. Also, few team members, like few company manage four or five also. So yeah, we will go step by step, like dev, then UA, then at last when everything passed, we'll go to prod. Correct? So that's how this pipeline works, and this pipeline is basically helping us to get code from repository and change it to an image and then deploy to Azure Web App, right? So everything has been automated. It's not like developer is like building in their local with the help of Visual Studio Build or some other build and then deploying. Instead, it is there with the help of DevOps, right? That's why DevOps is more important. You can see each and every task has been in added to DevOps, right? You have just created Azure Web App using Terraform, one-time job, right? Maybe other resources also. This web app required database or some uh, storage account. Those can be created using Terraform, right? Again, this one also you can frame it as one of your project, right? And you can add more resources along with web app, right? Like storage account, DevOps, key vault to store key of the database, correct? So yeah, please try to do this task. I've already shared you, right, this link, where it has, not this one, not this one also. exercise, this one, right? You have four different type of source code: C Sharp, Java, Node.js, or Python based, right? Please try to deploy different type of application to your web app, okay? And this is like for free, right? Activate your sandbox and deploy it, okay? And then if you have subscription, you can follow this one, and you can create pipeline and deploy. Okay, so okay, uh, thank you everyone. Let's meet tomorrow again. Anyone has any question?
Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you, because
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank,
sir.
thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Vikas.
Yeah, stop recording. Someone is trying to say something.